everyone, my name is Anaya and today we are going to go over my week 16 pregnancy update. So as always, we are going to start first with baby's development. So last week, baby was the size of an avocado, which is approximately 4.5 inches. Their taste buds were continuing to form, their skin continuing to develop. They're starting to become sensitive to light. Their eyes and their ears are now in their permanent positions. And their ability to hear our voice continues to improve. And then when it comes to appointments, at the beginning of last week, I had my first appointment with the OBGYN. Not a whole lot was discussed there. They check my weight because they always do, and I've managed to lose like 5 pounds since before I was pregnant, which I know isn't uncommon in the first trimester, but I kind of had expected to gain a little weight in the couple weeks that I've been in the second trimester. However, so far I have not. I've just lost weight. We also got to use the Doppler, and so we got to confirm that baby is still happy and healthy, which was exciting. And then last week I also had to do an early gestational diabetes test. So because I am at a higher risk for gestational diabetes, they wanted to test me earlier than they normally test people for gestational diabetes. Normally, the test I think is between 24 and 28 weeks. And I did my first test at week 16 and the second test this week. The way one gets diagnosed with gestational diabetes is through glucose blood tests. So first thing they will do is do a 1-hour test. This is where you go in, you don't have to fast, but they recommend that you don't have anything like sugary before. And you drink a, 50 gram? I'm assuming it's grams. It's a very, very sweet, like, orange drink. It's like flat orange pop. A lot of people think it's really gross. I wouldn't say it was good, but like, it was fine. You have to chug that in under 5 minutes, which is pretty easy, especially if you've got like a straw or something. And then you have to wait in the waiting room for an hour, and then they draw a tube of blood, and then later that day I got to see the results on the online portal, and I failed it. Failing the first one doesn't necessarily mean you have gestational diabetes. If you pass it, you don't, for sure. But if you fail it, that means you have to do the next test. I've traditionally seen that it's a 3-hour test, but mine was a 2-hour test. I did do it this week, but I'm going to talk about it anyway since we're talking about the gestational diabetes. So I did that test on Tuesday. It is now Thursday. And this time I did have to fast for like 8 hours, although I ended up fasting for more because I stopped eating at supper and I woke up late. So it was like more than a 12-hour fast for me. At this one, you go in and they do a tube of blood first thing before you take a drink this time to get your base level. And then they give you a 75-gram sugar drink. It's the exact same drink, just with more sugar. And you chug that in the 5 minutes again. And then you go in the waiting room and you sit for an hour and you come back and they take a tube of blood. And then you go back to the waiting room and you wait another hour and then they take a tube of blood. And if you were doing the 3 hour, it would just be the same thing once more. And I ended up passing that one. So I don't have gestational diabetes. From what I've read online, if they do test you early, they'll likely test you a second time at the regular time that they test people as well. So that means probably in July or August, I'll have to do it again. And hopefully I will pass that one. I'll probably will just fast for the first test, because you do the first test again, and if you fail that, you do the second. Just in case something that I did eat like spiked my sugar, I can't see it. All I had that day for the first test was some leftover barbecue potatoes with sour cream and bacon bits. None of that is like super sugary or anything, but I feel like I would rather just fast, at least just not eat anything in the morning before getting the blood work done, and hoping that I pass the first one, because I do not like blood work. My elbow pits are all bruised up. So yeah, I would just rather pass the first time. So yeah, no gestational diabetes. When it comes to my symptoms for last week, I thought I was finally getting over my acne, but I'm not. It is back with a vengeance. I noticed that my back was more sore than normal. I'm still decently tired. It's like half of the days in the week I take a nap and half I don't now. Like I'm not taking a nap today. I've still been bloated on and off. I've noticed that I've been having more occasional cramping. Nothing crazy or super painful. Just, a light cramping that I feel now and again. Still having ridiculous pelvic pain that is round ligament pain. Rolling over in bed is terrible. Do not take for granted your ability to roll over in the middle of the night and not feel pain. I will never take that for granted ever again. Still having tender boobs. And I think my biggest thing is I have been a lot more emotional and tearful. I find normally my baseline day to day is kind of just like a calm, neutral, kind of tired kind of emotion. Not usually like super happy or like sad or anything like that. I'm usually just kind of neutral when I'm living my day to day. Lately, I've been noticing that I'm either having like a lot of like happy emotions or a lot of like feeling in love kind of deal, or I am sad and crying. I've noticed that I'm a lot more clingy with Tristan lately. So like if he's gone for more than like his normal work day, like say he's got on Thursdays, on days like today, he'll go weightlifting after work, so he won't get home till late. I find that I am like sad and missing him. It's not like a separation anxiety, because I'm not anxious that he's not here, but it's kind of like a separation depression, if that even exists. So that's been interesting. Um, I had a moment Saturday night, I think it was, where, or maybe it was Sunday night. I don't exactly remember. It was on the weekend. Tristan was gone out of the house. I was already missing him and a little bit sad. And then it came time to eat something for supper because I was hungry. And I was looking around the house and we needed groceries and there was just nothing that I wanted to eat. And the idea of having nothing in the house to eat was really upsetting me. So I was like walking around the kitchen thinking about what to eat while having a few spoonfuls of Nutella and just kind of like crying because there was nothing here I wanted to eat. So then I messaged Tristan to see if he would bring me home Subway when he got home. And I felt bad that I was asking for Subway instead of just deciding to eat something that we already had. So then I started crying again. And then later, Tristan messaged me to tell me that he was coming home with my Subway, and I cried again. And then he got home with my Subway, and I'm eating my sub and like crying. So that felt very dramatic, but I just could not help it. So, yes, I have been tearful. But yeah, that is about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and oh wait, that is not the end of the video. I gotta show you my bump. So lately I have been feeling so round. I definitely am showing, like, I feel like you can see it, like, right here. But yes, quite round. Okay, now that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.